Good to see you. Yeah. So the way we're going to get started is I'm just going to do a quick run through on Facebook ads targeting. We did cold targeting last time by job title or interest or things like that. This week we're going to go on retargeting, and so I'll just show you how to get that set up, real tactical, and then we can talk about a couple use cases, and then we'll get into the full suite. And as always, if you have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. G and I will grab them when we get into that part of the section. So sharing screen here. So we're back here in Facebook Ads Manager. There's a toolbar, and then you click Audience, and then set you're in Audiences. You're going to hit Create Audience. Back here is Saved Audiences. You can also do this in the ad set for detailed targeting, which is like I need someone's job title. But if you're going to use an audience over and over, you could do it this way to make it easier. And then for retargeting, I'm going to go to Custom Audience. And then inside of custom audience, you can build it off of a lot of different things. If somebody watched 50% of a video, you could retarget them that way. If they went to a lead form and they didn't convert, then you could go and retarget that way. There's some e-com stuff in here. If they like certain Facebook pages, the customer list is probably pretty popular in B2B. The thing is, though, that you need to have a very large list because the match rates to get someone's business email to match with their personal email on Facebook is quite low. So you're really going to need a big list in order to make that meaningful. HubSpot has an integration that'll push in all your contacts and then match them up as well. And then here's what we're going to look at. So we're going to look at website. Before you can build a retargeting list off your website, you need to have the Facebook pixel installed on your website. It's a little script tag. You can put it in Tag Manager, or you can just drop it in before the end of the head tag. So you got the pixel, and then you can target all website visitors or people that visited a specific page or spent certain stuff on time. So some different use cases here. Retargeting people that went to high intent pages. So demo, pricing, things like that. Retarget with something, an offer or something like that. Typically, I'll also use it just to have a aggregate audience of people that have hit the site. So if I have top of the funnel content running, like a blog post, for instance, I'll start to aggregate all of these people and then have more narrow content going in here. And so if I'm going, there's basically two ways that I'll use this. The first one is I want the maximum amount of people that have been to the site. And so I'm going to pick the maximum amount of time, which is 180 days, and I'll build the audience off that. The other one that I would do that I've been using more recently is I'll do 2 days and I'll just have a quick retarget flow. So like they go to the website, they get a case study for a day or two, and then they're out. Or you can choose what piece of content that would be, but that's the second way I've been using it. So I'm going to say 180, I'm going to name it website visitors last 180 days. And then I'm going to hit create audience. So, and then from there you can build lookalikes and things like that. I'm not a big lookalike fan, especially I'm not a big lookalike fan in B2B because I think that the audiences are too wide and there's too much different criteria about how it builds the audience. So I feel like there's a lot of waste in there. So I'm going to hit that. Website visitors last 180 days. This is going to take some time to populate, but then over time, it'll give you an estimate of the total size of the audience. And then when you go to build the ads, you can just drop this in. So that is retargeting with the Facebook Pixel and Facebook Ads Manager. Cool. So
that's pretty sweet. What are some of the things you usually offer? Like, what are some of the offers that you put out there?
Mainly content, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Case studies are a big one, especially off of a retarget. Sometimes into long form content streams. So like Instagram story ads, swipe up to subscribe to a podcast. I really like. And then over time, it's just having another audience. So if you're going cold targeting with one, and then you just have a different audience to go after, because you have traffic coming from LinkedIn ads, Facebook ads, organic, email, promotions, referral sources. And so you just have this like separate audience outside that you might not hit with other targeting tactics.
I dig it. Pretty sweet.
Right on, right on. So now to the top level agenda. We got through Facebook targeting ads. So we'll get started here. One of the things that I was hoping to chat with you about, we've got some questions in it coming through on email, and get your 2 cents on just chatbots. Like, what are your thoughts on it? This is a very hyped space. Just curious to hear like what your first reaction is to that.
Yeah. Damn, this one, I feel like there really is no right or wrong answer to this one. I've seen a lot of different things lately. So obviously Drift does this fantastically because it's their product. So if you go to any like ebook page or dare do I say, lead magnet, Chris, your favorite term,
Mm-hmm.
what they do is actually quite fascinating. They hit you with the Drift bot and they get you to cough up your email address through the Drift bot. They basically pre-qualify you. They're like, hey, what are you looking to do on this page? Do you want the content? And then if you say yes, great, can I get your email? Great, this is fully automated. And then it says something after that, like, awesome, we're going to send you your content to your email. By the way, are you interested in learning more about Drift? Yes or no? And then you basically through multiple choice, like yes or no, you just say like no, then it says cool, hope you enjoyed the content, peace out. And then if it says yes, it then sends you into a live chat engagement with a live operator through chat. So they're doing a good job of eating their own dog food. I mean, they've gone the route of remove basically every form off the site possible, and the bot to the live agent is the funnel for everything, whether it's content, whether it's asking questions about a feature or a product. And I think that this is a very modernized way to do marketing, and I think it can be really slick and cool if you figure it out. But it's a big ass commitment, and like a lot
That's
of
what I was just
old,
gonna ask. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
it's a big ass commitment because it's the anti approach to what like all the sales teams are used to. Wait a second, we're not going to get company size and industry and all these things on forms that we're so used to having. That's right, you're not going to get any of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
have to be ready. You have to be ready to answer that person in like 30 seconds.
that's
Like
right.
I've seen a lot of companies fall down here based on response times, because there's nothing
Oh yeah,
worse than like, hey, I want to talk to a rep about this, and then you sit there waiting for someone to show up. I've seen that happen too, and it can now almost be the opposite effect of what you want.
that's right. Yeah, so when you're going with this, that's exactly right, Chris. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're going with this kind of funnel, um, you have to account for two really big things. One is time to contact, like as the old adage says, time kills deals. For sure, time to contact. You have probably less than, I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but if you've ever gone to like a chat, like a chat bot and engaged with it, and then said yes, I want to speak to an agent. If it takes like longer than like
30
20 to 30
seconds.
seconds, it feels like an eternity. Like, why the fuck is this taking so long? And a lot of people just bounce.
I do,
But
for
but
support and everything. Yeah.
oh yeah, for sure. You get pissed. So time to contact is crucial. And then the other thing is after hours. Now the bot can be
Mm.
could be a double-edged sword for after hours. It can be great in the sense that you actually have something there, some kind of mechanism, so that when after hours interest does come to the website, like a person like myself, I'm a freak. 2 a.m. on a Wednesday night, and I'm up researching stuff. You want there to be some kind of mechanism to engage with people like me. But on the flip side of that, it could lead a false expectation, right? It
Mm-hmm.
could just be like, oh, it's just some spammy bot. And then you have to get really creative with like the way you use the bot. So proactive versus not proactive. And for the people on this call, proactive chat means that the bot window, the chat window, opens up like a text message, and it has like an opening welcome there. So you have to actually get very creative with like your copy, your copywriting. Some marketers is writing bot copy, yes. And so it is it's that's like all the way one extreme. I mean, I could go through all the various cases, but maybe I'll just pause there. But that's like one extreme example.
Yeah, I mean, on the after hours thing, this is a little bit outside of B2B, but I find it fascinating for B2C type of companies that they only offer support from 9 to 5, when most people buy at the exact opposite hours of 9 to 5. Just is really interesting about trying to think about how to be customer centric and how things have changed, but taking the old way of doing things and then just moving it online is interesting. So tell me about are you guys using it at Nextiva, the chat?
Yeah. So a funny story, before my time, we tried Drift, didn't work. Our volume is too high. It couldn't scale with us. And we did even try Intercom, but we realized that Intercom is much better suited for support heavy operation. So what we actually figured out was we just need live chat. We need live agents all the time because our volumes are really high.
I love that.
So we just said, you know what, man, forget this bot stuff. Let's just go for the best live chat software that we can find. So we've been a customer of this company called Snap Engage for the past like 2.5 years now. And it's been fantastic. Now they specialize in live chat. They have a bot, but it's not their main selling point. Like they really are about the live chat experience. And I think the future of live chat is going into this new category kind of called co-browsing. Now, I don't know if you've heard of co-browsing, but it's basically exactly what it sounds like. You can engage with a live chat agent and go back and forth with some questions. And then the live chat agent can take over the screen right there and say, I'm going to take over the screen and I'm going to show you some stuff. And that's the future of like where this is all going, which is kind of it's nuts. But like, if you guys are curious about it, just Google search like co-browsing and co-browsing software. And you can see like there's a lot of companies now thinking about how to do this. But for us,
who takes care of the bot? Like what role is that's on the bot?
Now that's a tough one.
Sorry, not the bot, the chat. Excuse me.
Oh yeah. So we have a demand gen marketer that basically is a full-time chat, like marketing chat, sales chat, like operator.
Yeah.
So
how do you measure that role?
We measure that role in terms of a couple of different ways. Pipeline created as a result of chat. We look at the number of chat audits. So we have quality assurance specialists actually monitoring all the chat logs, reading all the chat logs. And if chat agents are abusing it, time to contact is not being met, certain SLAs are not being met, their chat license gets revoked. So chat is such a high converting channel for us that we don't give all the reps chat licenses. You have to earn your chat license. And reps know that it's so good that if you get it, you have to hold on to it for dear life because it's such a high converting channel, right? And it makes so much sense too, right? Like nobody wants to just call anymore, and nobody wants to really fill out forms, give their phone number, and get hammered. So what's the next logical thing? It's chat, and live chat right there. Boom, it's great. So those are like the main ways that we measure it. There's a few other things we look at as well.
Sure,
but those are like the main things.
Yeah,
and it does require full time.
I've seen in a couple companies that I've worked with in the past that an SDR ends up manning the bot, and they're comped on demos, or they're measured only on demos. And so the idea of helping someone, if it doesn't lead to a demo, sometimes there's some misalignment there that I've seen. So I like the idea of using a marketer. Like 2015, like I manned the bot, or sorry, the chat. I keep making that mistake. I manned the chat, and it was hard. Like sometimes I forgot to say I was signed off, and then 3 minutes later, someone messaged me and I wasn't there to answer it, and it's hard.
Yeah, it's very, very hard. And I think when you introduce things like chat, whether it's a bot or live chat, into your funnel, now what you have to start thinking about is, oh, wow, wait a second. I've got banners. I've got pop-ups. I've got all these things now. So at what point am I robbing from Peter to give to Paul? Like we introduced live chat, and now all of a sudden, we notice that our pop-up submission rates are much lower. And someone might raise the alarm on that and say, wait a second, guys, we used to get a lot of submissions from this, exit intent pop-up that was offering a free offer, a special offer on exit intent. We used to crush last year. Now we're way down. Well, guess what? Live chat is way up. So, you're basically shifting the ways that people want to buy to the way they want to buy. It's that's what companies need to understand. Like you no longer get to pick and decide the way people buy from you. They dictate it, and if you don't match up with what they want, cool, bye. Just- that's it. That's it. So, it's something I would say experiment with wisely, cautiously. It's a big investment, big commitment. The whole company's got to get behind the idea. But if you could pull it off, it's nice.
Yeah. Cool. Appreciate your insights on that. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're going to change gears a little bit. The next question that came in, and then we'll actually start getting to questions. This came in before. So Julian isn't here, but he had sent me an email, and basically what he was saying was, at one point we were talking about, I don't like the specialization of media roles between AdWords and social, mainly because then both people are trying to drive the one with attribution. So social ends up doing the wrong things, and then they start competing for results. And I think that they should be working together, not working separately. And so his question was, if we look more globally at like the marketing organization, where do you stop with specialization?
Ooh, man, the questions there are good, man. Again, I feel like this is also one that there really is no concrete right or wrong answer. It depends on your volume, and it depends on like just how much can one machine operator take on. So for example, if you are a global company where you have Google ads running in the US, in Canada, in many European countries, maybe some Asia Pacific countries, that alone is going to be a massive handful. When you talk about text-based ads, so you have your classic paid search, and then you have your display. You're probably going to do some retargeting, and you're probably going to, if you're at that scale, you're probably going to start thinking about YouTube and pre-roll ads and things like video. There's so much coordination that has to happen just in that world, in between paying attention to ad copy, paying attention to landing page conversion rates, understanding the traffic, getting into the back end metrics, not just looking at front end marketing metrics, which are nice, but when it comes to PPC, it's all about getting down to profitability by ad group, looking at your ad group configuration, looking through you have to constantly be monitoring the junk keyword flows that are coming in through, modified broad match and phrase match and so forth. That alone, especially if you're spending big money, it requires total nonstop hard work and focus. So if that's the scale you're operating on when it comes to Google ads, we're talking hundreds of thousands a month in spend. I wouldn't recommend taking on paid social as well. But if it's a small scale, Google ads operation where maybe, you have some very basic campaigns running, it's not worldwide, it's not a super complex thing. You only have maybe a couple of ad groups. You're really tight with your bidding. There's only a couple landing pages that are getting traffic, right? It's pretty streamlined. You have to just pay a lot of attention to landing page optimization in order to get the big wins. Like, you're not going to find some magical bidding strategy on the keyword side that's going to, bring in huge results for you. Then I think you may have some opportunity to expand to LinkedIn advertising and Facebook, and kind of have one person driving the whole engine there. But it's the classic consulting answer, which is it depends. Chris, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I mean, as you talk through this, I'm kind of flip-flopping on it, because it's not necessarily the specialization of the role that causes the challenge that I was mentioning. It ends up mainly being how those channels are measured, and then who is on top that's architecting how each channel is supposed to be operating. And so, perhaps it does make sense with a lot of spend or in different countries. I've always run the whole mix or overseen the whole mix. And so I think, like you said, it depends. There's a lot of different ways to win.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. So, the next one in the agenda that I think is really fascinating is looking at, and Dave Gerhard posted about this earlier in the week, and I got it sent to me a couple of times, like, what are your thoughts? And I was going to comment, and I was like, maybe I won't comment, and we'll actually go into some depth here. And so his position was mainly looking at the difference between how to use a brand profile on LinkedIn versus employee profiles. And so I'm gonna butcher how he put it, but like the
Do
brand
you
is,
do you have the post? Is it worth like maybe pulling up and sharing?
yeah,
I
we can
think
do
that
that.
that'd be kind
Yeah,
of
1
interesting.
second. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I have a slightly different approach that we're testing right now, so it'd be cool to just like look at both of them. I'm pulling it up. Let's check it out. This is featured. Yeah, here you go. So it says, if you're a B2B company, I don't think you need to actively post on your brand social media accounts anymore. Well, you should post, but you should treat that account like a news feed or a ticker, the feed where articles, links, company info gets promoted. And then the real social media is done through people at your company and their personal accounts. People want to work with real people, and that is one of the huge benefits of social media, but gets hidden when we rely on our brand accounts. And then we wonder why our B2B brand social media accounts never grow. Brand account equals news ticker, people's account equals social media. So first I'll let you kind of react to that. It's an interesting point of view. I can see it.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess the thing with that is the first line said you don't need to post on your company brand account. That's I, it's tough because again, this is the consultant answer, but it depends. Like if I'm a company that is playing in the enterprise space, B2B, and I have big contract value deal sizes, and like one of the components to how the brand is perceived in the market is analysts' perception and points of views from analysts at places like Gartner and Forrester and stuff like that. A lot of those analysts, they actually do pay attention to the brand company pages. So in some ways, you can't have your brand company page looking like a graveyard, like an RSS feed of automated posts and stuff like that. Like that's going to be bad news. But on the flip side of that, there is no doubt about it. The personal brand from the actual person at the company is the most important thing. So you just have to find out, is there some kind of value in maintaining a baseline level of activity on your company brand page? Like if you're Salesforce, you've got to do shit. If like the bigger your company gets, especially as you get closer to being publicly traded and stuff like that, like you've got to have something going there. And at the end of the day, if you want to start running LinkedIn ads, you can't do that from a personal brand account. You just can't do it. But you can do that from a brand account. So I'm gonna give him probably a thumbs up on that ultimately I do agree. But I would say that it depends on like what stage your company is in. Like if you're a brand new startup, don't even waste time on the company page. Like if you're, sub 100 employees and you're, your seed round or series A, heading into series B or whatever, or, if you're a small, like, marketing company or a service provider or something like that, like you don't need to spend too much time on it. But the bigger your company gets, the more that analysts start to matter is you should start to pay a little bit more to the company brand page. But overall, I do agree. And I don't know how you feel, Chris, but
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
there's a couple things that I've noticed. The first one is that I haven't seen a lot of company pages, at least in the ones that I'm looking at or in the second degree connections that are engaging with, haven't seen them take off. And so I start to think about why. And as I think about why, and I actually watch a lot of companies, whether the ones that I work with or just other ones that the tech I'm interested in, or I'm just doing market research, I'm watching them. And there's a couple things that I see happen. The first one is that most things that company pages post have fundamental flaws in what they're doing. The first one is that there's links directly in the post. The second one is that the design of the post is to get someone off of the platform when people don't want to leave. It's, hey, read this blog. Hey, come listen to this 60-minute podcast. Here are the 3 things that were great about it. I post my podcast underneath my posts in the comments every time, and very few people click through. I just know that that's not how people use the platform. And the third like fundamental flaw that I see is that they're mainly posting for themselves. They're like PRing themselves, not posting for their customers. And so with all of that said, I have an interesting idea that I'm starting to test out both with our company profile, trying to get there, and with a couple of the companies that we work with. So the difference is on the personal profiles, everyone can run their own personal content stream. They can run it like me. They could do it like G. They can do whatever they want, whether it's to hire people, whether it's to build a personal brand in sales, whether it's to get business, whatever the people want to do inside, we should give them the tools to be able to do that. We should empower them because it helps with overall awareness. It helps with recruiting. It helps with a lot of different things. On the company page, the interesting thing that I've been thinking about is why isn't the company page becoming like the industry news section of LinkedIn? Why isn't the company that's good at finance taking all of the thought leaders from finance and DJing the content from them? Why aren't from their podcast, I go out and interview 20 people and then I'm posting all of their content on our page of what they're saying and I'm tagging them. And then the person that's a thought leader in finance that has 35,000 followers and we tag them and they comment, hey, this was great to be on here. You get exposure to all these different people. So that is the current thesis or current hypothesis, let's put it that way, of what I'm thinking a LinkedIn company page should do.
You know what's great about it? It's the anti-brand, like social media marketing strategy. It's literally the anti-brand strategy. Mm-hmm. It's the opposite of what everyone else is telling you to do. It's the opposite of what everyone else is doing. It's actually running the company brand account like a personal account. Mm-hmm. That's basically it.
Yeah, except you're almost like collecting like 10 other people,
right,
or however many, and running it like a personal profile with their content. So instead of like my audiogram, it would be from this person. Like we're doing it right now. I did a podcast with Justin Welsh, and then we chop up what Justin said that was smart. And then we put it out there because we know sales and marketing, SaaS people know about Justin and the things that he says are really smart and he's experienced. And so like, why aren't we showcasing that? It's what our customers want.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
It's
man.
interesting.
So yeah.
We're going to test it out with a $35 million SaaS company.
Oh, wow.
In the next, 30 to 60 days, I hope to have some good news to report on that strategy.
That'd be awesome to hear. I'd love to see the outcome of that. The other thing I noticed is that brand company pages tend to have less dwell time of their posts. So like Chris, your posts, they linger, baby. Those things are hanging around, man.
Dude, some of them go for 6 weeks, believe it or not.
Yeah. And you know what's weird? Some of mine too, like I'll get someone liking and commenting on like a post from like 3-4 weeks ago. I'm like, I thought this thing was dead. Somehow it resurfaces. It's weird. But those company brand posts, man, they got no dwell time. Those things sink into the dirt, real quick. But give it a day and it's like a tweet. It's gone. Mm-hmm. So I found that to be interesting as well.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to tell whether it is the content or the engagement rate. So like a lot of people that follow, there's company pages that have 10,000 followers and get 2 likes on their post because their followers either don't use the platform or have no interest in what they're doing or a former employee or whatever it is. And so it's like, it's interesting to think about why the algorithm is deprioritizing them. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, if I had to guess, it's probably 2 reasons. One, they just want brand accounts to pay. So they're automatically going to give brand accounts less juice. And then I think the other one, this is just a theory. I don't know. I don't have any data whatsoever to back this up. But I just think people don't want to engage with brand pages because you feel like it's just like, who is on the other side of that? I don't know. Even if the brand responds to me, that's weird.
It's so weird though, because on Twitter, for instance, like Wendy's and some other really companies have made really built their brand interacting and engaging with smart copywriting on Twitter. So it's really interesting that we're not seeing that right now. The last thing about why to start to build a LinkedIn company page, I feel like, is that it only takes just one change in the algorithm for a company page to be a lot more important. And I imagine that at some point that something will happen that makes it more important.
Yeah, I mean, they're not stupid. To close off on this point, I think what they did to fuel the excitement around LinkedIn was algorithmically boost everyone's personal page reach. If they really want, like, let's say LinkedIn has a bad quarter and ad investments are way down, you know what they're going to do? They're going to start fueling the brand pages up with more, reach. And people are going to say, wow, out of nowhere, my post started getting so much engagement.
Yeah.
Imagine if we start running ads now, I think it'll really blow up. And that's exactly what they want. So I don't know. Again, that's just a theory of mine. I don't have any data to back that up, but that's where I'm at with it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So this is the part where I slide in the surprise that I was planning for you. And so what I was hoping, if you'd entertain us for 5 to 10 minutes, is that I'm going to give you a company, randomly picked company, and I want to see for everyone how you would go through and give a top level analysis of their SEO.
Oh man, that is good stuff.
So I'm going to drop this random link in the chat and away you go.
All right. That is that is good stuff. All right. Yeah. So let me do that and share my screen, and I guess we can start getting into some stuff here. Let's do that. Very on the spot. I dig it. I dig it.
I was going to text you earlier and be like, hey, is this okay? Mind. And then I was like, no way.
Yeah, I don't mind the random. All right, so emplify.com. Okay, let me just get this going. Is this a client of yours or
no?
Okay,
just picked a VC firm, went through their portfolio, picked a random company.
Got it. Okay, VC firm, cool. So let me just put this in. Amplify.com, cool. And yeah, I'm just going to pull this up, and I'm going to pull up their site as well. Amplify.com. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and we'll get this going, guys. All right, should I try to do this like as fast as possible, or should I kind of go like?
I don't know, man. Do your thing. We got probably 10 minutes.
All right, I'll go moderate speed. All right, boom. So right off the bat, what am I trying to figure out? I'm trying to just figure out baseline level trends in terms of traffic, keyword growth, and what kind of companies are linking to them, and trying to get an understanding of, like, are they a big player in the space? Who are their competitors? Are they getting crushed by someone? Like, what does this whole thing look like? So right away, the first thing I look down at is their organic competitors. And I see that it's a bunch of no-name brands that I've never heard of. And I see the competition level is low in all of this stuff. And I see that in terms of the number of keywords that they have in common with these other organic competitors is low. So that gives me an understanding of at least the competitive landscape from a content standpoint. Like there's not much happening. Like it's not a really competitive space. Like if I were to put pipedrive.com in here, I'd see, a much different story. Right. So now I go back here and I click into their organic trend. And over time, what I want to see is this going up or down? And this is US focused, by the way. Oh, all right. This is interesting. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I see that over time, they definitely have been doing the right thing. They've been growing in organic keyword growth. So they rank for a total of 4,900 keywords. And the traffic trend is also correlating positively with that. So they're definitely doing some things. It's not a super high volume site. Then the next thing I look at is traffic cost. And what I'm realizing is that this is a pretty low traffic cost, right? So what this basically means is how expensive or how commercially viable is the traffic that they're getting, right? So then I start to look at some of the actual keyword results here. So out of the 4,892 keywords that they rank for, what is the distribution of that? So I start to look at this, and now I see in the top 3 Google results, they have 116 keywords. In positions 4 through 10, they have 341. And then below that, in positions 11 through 20, they have 485 keywords. So they have some stuff going on for sure. Now, the next thing I do is I usually do an advanced filter and exclude any brand keywords, because actually the right way to quantify SEO is looking at non-branded search. How good of a job are they doing from a non-branded search perspective? So I usually go exclude keywords containing EMP, because that will basically like block out any of their brand keywords.
Just be careful, because I think they're an employee engagement company. So EMP, employee. Yeah.
That could do it. So maybe what I'll do then is exclude keyword exactly matching amplify, or containing containing amplify. Yeah.
Cool.
So I'll apply that. And okay, so the trend seems to, now there's something very interesting that happens. The trend of traffic kind of stays the same, but what happens to traffic cost? It goes way down. So with brand, they were at around 40K a month traffic cost. Without brand, they're at 7K. So most of the expensive terms are actually around their brand. And what that probably means is that competitors are bidding on them. So now what I want to do is actually search their brand in Google and see who's bidding on them and what does this look like? Amplify. Wow, no one's bidding on them. Okay, so they're an employee engagement improvement survey software. Okay. They have site links here, which is nice. They've got Wikipedia page. Okay, LinkedIn and review sites. Now the next thing I'd probably do is go amplify like reviews and see if like this looks good. Yeah, Capterra, positive review in the snippet here. They've got 41 reviews on G2, good star rating, Glassdoor. Okay. Yeah, not bad. So it seems like they're doing all the right things to start with in terms of like a brand reputation standpoint. Going back to SEMrush, now looking at like, do they rank for anything meaningful from like a search perspective? And I start looking immediately at the CPCs, because that will tell me, do they rank for like commercial stuff? Volume is important, but really I'm looking to understand like what's the commercial viability of like the stuff they're ranking for. And I see things like the value of employee engagement. That's like a higher funnel term. Like no one's going to search that and buy their software. Keep going. Employee engagement industry has a CPC of like $12. Again, that's really low. Right. And I don't really see anything here that is like super impressive from like a bottom of funnel SEO.
I'm looking for like employee engagement software.
Yeah, like employee engagement tool and employee engagement software, which I don't see. Now I know that they can't rank for that. It's too hard. I know that. So what they're probably doing is realizing, okay, we just need to educate the market higher up funnel. And then, through the website and stuff like that, we might be able to get them to engage deeper. But let's just take one of these money terms like employee engagement. So this is actually the stuff that I would focus on if I were them. So Google Auto Suggest tells you this stuff, because this should be their content strategy. They should be ranking for all this stuff. Now, if I go to employee engagement software, what are we going to see? We're going to see technology advice, G2, Capterra. Now, what that means is you cannot rank for this term as a vendor. You can't. So if your CEO feels that this is the most important keyword in the world to your company, and can't understand this concept that some results are is just not achievable. Like the highest you can get is probably like, or maybe the bottom of page one, like Qualtrics, and Qualtrics is a beast. Then SEO may not be the best strategy for bottom of funnel lead gen activities, but it may be a great strategy for audience building, brand building, educating the market, becoming a trusted source for great knowledge of education in this world of employee engagement. So what they should be doing instead is basically a couple of things. Getting on this technology advice list. So let's see if they're on here.
This is fascinating, by the way.
I hope it's not too boring. So what do I see here? Culture Amp, Trackstar, 15.5, Kudos, Forte, Tiny Pulse, right? So they're not on here. What do you think is the first thing I would be doing if I was at this company? I'd be hitting up technology advice and be like, yo, why aren't we on this list? It's probably pay to play. I get it. Let's work some shit out. Right? Like, let's figure this out. Let's become an affiliate partner. Let's get you paid on commission, whatever it takes. Like, we need to get on this list because this is the way people are shopping for this kind of tool. So let's see what else is on here. G2, best employee engagement software in 2020. Great. Let's see. Usual suspects here. 15.5, Lattice.
I've seen a lot of Lattice Instagram ads lately.
Oh, yeah. They're going big.
Mm-hmm.
Office Vibe, Fond, Kudos, right? So nowhere to be found. Amplify is nowhere to be found on here. Guess what they got to go do? Yo, G2, how the hell can we get mentioned here? We need to get, like, they need to get all over this. They need to fight tooth and nail to prove their case to these companies because that's how people are searching. So let's look at maybe one more example of maybe like a money keyword. So we've already figured out that like employee engagement software is going to be like too hard. And they're not going to be able to rank for this. Now, the other thing I like to do is go to the people also ask box and start looking at what are the educational terms that are leading up to this kind of search. So what is employee engagement? What is employee engagement software? How big is the employee engagement market? What are the types of employee engagement? This is all stuff that they should be all over. The what is, the how to, the where is, how can I, the where, who is it for, all this kind of stuff. Right. And then if I were to go back to employee engagement and look at the auto suggest results from here. So this is the content strategy right here. You don't even need a keyword research tool to figure this out. This is the strategy. You need to rank for all this stuff. So employee engagement definition. Let's see who's a .org is ranking number 1. So that's going to be a tough thing to beat. But the rest of these are, I think, achievable. Like, look at the Forbes result here from 2012. When you see a result from Forbes from 2012 in the top 5, that tells you that this is a very stale result. And it's very winnable. You may not be able to beat the .org because .orgs are usually beast. But over time, if you optimize your content and build on it enough and build enough backlinks to it, you can definitely at least get into the top 2 or 3. And if this is a crucial enough keyword for your brand and you need to be all over it, then you should invest in that. Let's go back to employee engagement software. Probably the last thing I'll look at is the ads. So who's bidding on this and what's going on? And let me go to Culture Amp.
It's great that they just paid like $18 for this click.
Yeah, probably more. So now what I try to understand too is like the funnel that these other companies are using. And I just I look to understand a couple of things. One is how long is this page? Like, is it one of those long informational pages? Like, I don't know, Chris, if you've seen like Instagram ads from like those dating gurus, you know, they swipe up to learn how to, you know, I'm just throwing something out there, right? Like I've seen this guy on Instagram, like spend a lot of money to try and coach like dudes on like how to get like dates and stuff. So out of curiosity, I clicked on the ad and it was like a 25,000 word page with endless storytelling bullshit. So is it one of those kinds of things or is it like this that's super short? So check out their formula. Value prop, book a demo. All they're asking for is your email address. So they're going really frictionless. Nice value props. The subtext here is a little smaller than what I'd like. Social proof. I like this. Used by 3 million users. That's great. Testimonial. And that's it. So there's not much you can do here other than just take a stab in the dark and
convert
see
or
what this
leave.
is about. Or convert or leave. And this is actually a great strategy if you have a well-known brand. So Culture Amp does have a well-known brand, and they actually do give you an exit here with this logo link, which probably sends you to the homepage. And yeah, it does. So not a fan of that immediate pop-up.
No.
So let's go back to the results of the ads and let's look at another example. You have Leapsum here. Now I just scroll up and down real quick to see how long form is this. Okay, this is a very different approach. This is a classic Z pattern. So product image on the right. Look how small this is. I got to zoom in big time to see this. So I'm not a fan of like tiny text like that. I hate this. Now there's a couple of things this company is doing bad. One is I skipped right over this stuff. Like
didn't even see it.
Didn't even see it. Like the CTAs should be like so easy to find that it's like obvious. So I skipped right over this. The other thing I don't like is it's gray on gray. Request a trial or schedule a demo. It should be one or the other.
I hate the number of employee count. You can enrich on that.
Hate it.
Like,
I mean, the other thing that's
unnecessary field.
It's a whack field. The other thing that's whack about it is look how like the order of operation is all messed up. Like 1 through 50 is at the bottom and then 50 to 100 is at the top. Like it's just not a good way to quantify whether or not a deal is going to be, a good opportunity. Let's keep going through this. So the other thing I don't like is that there's learn more links, which are going to send you down a rabbit hole into the website. And from a paid ad into the learn more, I actually don't like that strategy. I also don't like just how overwhelming this page is. Like from what I know from like the testing that I've been doing over the years, like no one's going to take the time to read through all this. Like it's just too much stuff. And I don't feel that it is solution oriented enough. It's a little bit too fluffy, a little bit too product-y. Just not a fan of some of this stuff, like give meaningful feedback without the awkwardness. I don't know if that's there's just too much stuff going on. Yeah. I would just say this page probably doesn't convert well at all, if I had to guess. So I check out the ads landscape. Now I just go through their website, guide your workforce, request a demo right there. Wow, that's pretty bold. Explore. I like to explore how it works. Yeah, this ain't bad.
That's good.
It's a unique design. I actually like the homepage quite a lot. It's very simple, not bad. But overall, getting back to the SEO, the general assessment is off to a good start, not doing anything groundbreaking. If they continue this hard work over the next like 2 to 3 years and get more focused around the right keywords, that they'll be in good shape. But right now it's just kind of getting its feet off the ground and it's in its early stages and not too many impressive things going on from an SEO standpoint. It's very below average level performance at this point.
Right on. Can we give I'll clap it up.
I hope that was okay for you guys.
I thought that was great. I learned a lot.
I hope I didn't ramble too much. I hope
we got a couple people clapping. This is great. So I got one more topic. If you guys have any other things, feel free to throw them in the chat. We had one more thing on the agenda. We're doing great on time. I'm feeling good. So the next thing is, there was a question that came in. We simplified it, which is just, do you think there's ever a place where sales enablement falls under demand gen?
Oh, man, that's so tough. I would say no. I mean, demand gen should definitely be involved, but I would say no. Like, it's not demand gen's job to like teach sales how to sell. That's just my take, Chris. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think in really small marketing organizations, in a lot of cases, marketing ends up being the provider of sales enablement. If you look at like a very traditional marketing model, marketing would own sales readiness and sales enablement and tools. And I've done that in the past in a classical marketing organization. However, I think if we're looking like into the future, I feel like sales enablement sits under RevOps and it becomes an enablement function across the entire customer journey. I
agree with that 1,000,000%.
It's super interesting though, if we want to go on a tangent, which is like, a lot of people feel like RevOps is just sales and marketing ops put together. I think maybe we could jam on that for a little while. I don't know if you guys have built that function out. I've seen some companies that are doing it. I feel like there's a lot of different definitions out there about what it means. And so we could jam on that for a second.
Yeah, for sure. So there's a guru. I hate to use that word guru, but he really is a guru of sales enablement. And I used to work with him on sales enablement content when I was leading the marketing team at Sales Hacker. This guy, his name is Roderick Jefferson, and he was like the longtime like VP of enablement at Marketo. So he knows like how the enablement game works at like a big scale. And he wrote this very, very compelling guide called Demystifying Sales Enablement, what it is, why it matters, and how to do it right. And his definition of sales enablement was the best I've ever seen. And this is his definition. Sales enablement is centered around getting the right people in the right conversations with the right decision makers in the right way. We break the complexity of sales enablement into practical ideas through repeatable practices that will lead to increased revenue. So basically, it's just, it really comes down to increasing productivity, I think, like rep productivity, effectiveness and efficiency through processes, through tools, through understanding the product inside and out, how to basically value sell instead of, selling based on features and all that. But in a nutshell, that's kind of the way that I think about it. And because there's so much to it, it can't be a marketing led thing, because when you're talking about like, let's say a sales engagement tool, like Outreach or SalesLoft, that's the managing of those tools is a huge undertaking. And you think about all the shit that marketing's got to do. We've got to handle the drift bot and the live chat, and like marketing is being asked to do so much these days. Like, it's insane. And the audacity of people to say that marketing should have a revenue quota pisses me off. We've already got to do enough shit. Now you want us to sell? And I'll stand firm on that one. But marketing is asked to do much more than ever before, when actually sales is getting simpler. Sales is getting simpler. All you have to do is sell. Like,
and
that's
you're
all you got to
actually
do.
Selling through less of a journey now. Like, buyers are more done. Yeah.
Exactly. So sales is getting easier. Marketing is getting way harder. Marketing's got to influence the deal all the way up to like the 80% mark. And then sales just kind of has to, hold their hand over the finish line, get them over. Right. But that's it. So I'm putting a challenge out to my sales team. I'm going to get on the damn phones and I'm going to crush all you guys. I'm going to get on the phones and I'm going to crush you. Because I'm telling you, I listen to sales calls every day. And the whole demand gen team actually takes turns reporting to the entire company. The sales call of the day. We have a sales call of the day that someone reports on. And we learn a ton through that, man. We just learn so much. But I guess to close off on the tangent is marketing cannot support sales enablement, at least fully and to a high level, because we're just, we have too much on our plate, and we have to cut it off at some point.
Yeah. I mean, when I look at, I know that enablement is a deep function, but some of the like easy examples that come off the top of my head, content, training, education, overall sales process definition. Those are some of the things that I think about when I think about base level enablement. But when I think about RevOps, most people think about it as just an operations function. Let's put the tech together. Let's make sure that the salesperson has like the enriched data when they get the lead, those types of things. And I've started to look at it is in 4 core buckets. The first one is tools. So if we were going to do a RevOps, it would be across the entire function, across the entire customer journey, success, sales, and marketing, about how do all the tools get connected together. If you have siloed functions, there's duplication, there's redundancies in tech. There's non-integration. So having the whole function, one function decide on the tools across the whole journey, I think is smart. It's probably very cost effective as you get into bigger companies. Number 2 is going to be operations. So your traditional marketing ops, sales ops, but I would like to see them look at it across. I think most companies have a RevOps function and then they put sales ops underneath it. That is not the goal of that function. The goal is to have one person looking at it across the whole cycle. The third one is enablement. So tools, things like that we just talked about. The fourth one is analytics. And I think it's really interesting to think about that one too. As a marketer, I was doing RevOps before I even knew what RevOps was called, just by helping the sales team have the things that they need, make sure that they have those things, tracking the data all the way to churn and lifetime value as a marketer. What sources are most likely to churn in the first 6 months that I'm generating? How do I change that? Those are some of the ideas.
Yeah, dude, that's brilliant right there. And I think, when people talk about sales and marketing alignment, I think they default to like certain things, but that's the main thing you should think about when you think about sales and marketing alignment. You should figure out lead quality as like the main thing to figure out. Lead quality by source. And I think I commented on one of your posts this week, Chris, like about I think your post was about reducing junk or something like that.
A lot of them are.
A lot of them are, which is a great thing. But yeah, no, honestly, like this. By the way, Dave challenged me on the complex sale, which actually, reading his comment, I actually, Dave, agree with you that if you're doing high velocity sales, it is quite different. And when you're doing contract values that are under 10K on average, and there's very high volume, then yes, all the things that I talked about before do apply. But yes, if you let's say your average contract value is like 50K, and your sales cycles are like 6 months, then it's way different. So Dave, I actually do agree with you, and I appreciate you challenging me on that. Yeah, I don't think I have much more to add. I think that's it.
Right on. Cool. It doesn't look like we have any questions. We got a lot of chat going on, which is nice, but I don't see any other questions. So 8:29, we could end on time. We usually tend to run over, which is great, but we can get everyone off to bed. I know with some kids, I have a dog to walk. First off, we got to talk about, how was your trip? You went to Vegas, right? What was the number one marketing tactic that you found in Vegas?
Yeah, so I did a double hit. I did a Vegas LA hit, which was super cool. Did 2 days in LA, 2 days in Vegas. And I would say that LA is just your standard stuff. Like, there wasn't any gimmicks or tricks or anything like that. It was just, come
Just
through.
LA.
That's LA. Yeah, it was LA. It was classic LA shit. Nothing changed. Great weather. Yep, definitely Elaine. Vegas was so hot. My God, it like so I'm in Florida, so I got a different kind of heat. I got the humidity, but man, I forgot what dry middle of the summer desert heat feels like, and whew, it is a doozy. Because even at night, it's like 99, and it's just like hot, stuffy air. It's hard to breathe. But in terms of like marketing gimmicks and scams, I think what did I mean, the main thing I noticed was like a lot of the emails to get you to come back. So there was a lot of like, we're super clean now. Like, whereas like, oh, so you were dirty before. And the one thing I was thinking about too was like, what if this is all just like a front? Like, you have like the casino dealers, like, now for all the blackjack tables, they have the plexiglass separating each seat, and there's only 3 seats allowed now. And there's no smoking allowed. And there's there's a lot of cleaning activity that's very visible. They make sure it's very visibly known that there's a lot of cleaning activity happening. And then the other thing that I found interesting was that if you vacate like a hotel room, that they cannot clean it in one day and then rebook it again. There has to be like a debuffering period. So like they have to space out the amount of time that passes by before they can rebook that same room again. But yeah, the main thing I just found that was gimmicky was their welcome back emails. Like, we're clean, Vegas clean, Venetian clean. They're just sending you a lot of emails about the steps that they're taking to like be extra clean. But that was kind of like the biggest gimmick that I saw.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you had a great trip. It was 95 out here in Boston 2 days in a row. I was at the beach, played spike ball for the first time. It was pretty good. Ooh. It was good. I got a little workout. I've been like, I'd still get up every morning and do a workout, but it's like 20-minute abs. Like, it's not really, I'm trying to get active again. The gyms in here in Boston are going to open up on July 1st.
Ooh.
Which I'm very excited about. My 6 a.m. routine I got to get back to. For anyone, so we've already helped one person get a job through this thing. And now there's a plug Allison dropped, Sales Enablement Manager. If you know someone or if you want the job, feel free to reach out. And the hope, like always, is that I thought this was cool. Like, I learned some stuff from Gaetano on the SEO side. The hope is to continue to add layers. The top level strategy, I feel like, is clear. Like, we've broken that down over the past 14 or so weeks. And now it's going to be more tactical, with the goal of just trying to continue to have you all show up and get value from it every Tuesday. That's the objective.
Nice. Yeah, I agree with that fully. Hey, Chris, maybe to close off, you can share some thoughts on like gimmicky marketing, scams, not necessarily even scams, but just like gimmicky marketing tactics. Like, what are some things that like you notice, whether it be Vegas or airports or any kind of B2C brand, even B2B?
Yeah.
What are some things that you notice?
I mean, one thing that I've started to push, not really push against publicly, but I've just noticed in my own behavior that I don't engage with it, is there's a lot of e-commerce brands that are trying to just get your phone number without actually needing you to buy something. And then they're just pushing like 10% off to your text every day, which I'm not a fan of. I'm actually pretty low on using text as a B2B cold outbound mechanism. Like, that sounds terrible. It really does.
Oh man, that's great.
And
I agree. What's interesting that you said that. I went to a weed store in LA and I bought some weed, and something strange happened a day later. They said I got a text that said, hey, if you want more fire pre-rolls, we got you on 25% off your next visit if you come back within the next 3 days. And I was just like, well,
some
I'm only
urgency.
trying to create urgency. And I was like, well, I'm only going to be here for another day, so I guess I'm good on that. But what they probably have figured out was that a lot of people probably smoke through their whole, bundle within the first day, and will want to come back, and maybe we'll go to a different dispensary. So what they're trying to create is that loyalty. So I guess that was kind of gimmicky, but is what just is what it is.
Sounds like an awesome place to close. Really good to have you here, man. We'll continue to drop in surprises and put you to the test. This has been great. So, closing out, if you have something to say, feel free. Otherwise, it's been a pleasure. All good? Cool, man. Thank you, everyone. The recording will be posted to tomorrow morning on YouTube, 9 a.m. We're starting to really get this going. So 9 a.m. it premieres on YouTube, and then it'll go up on the podcast on Thursday. So I hope you enjoy it. Good to see you, and hope to see you next week. Yeah, definitely. And Chris, thank you for the recap snippets that you've been sending me. They're awesome. I'm going to start posting those real soon. Sounds good, man. They're going up on the Refine Labs page too, per the strategy beautiful. We talked about. Oh, I love it, man. Yeah, dude, if your team could keep sending me those, that's going to be gold. I'm just going to have content for days. We got it. Thanks, brother. Cool. Thanks, everyone. See y'all. Have a good night. Take care. Bye.